What's going on? I'm Darian Judd, BW Darian, DJ Customs, whatever you want to call it, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to show you guys how I price out my wraps. This could be for a Ford Transit, this could be for a ProMaster, this could be for a Bentley, Bugatti, I don't know, whatever it may be. That's what this video is for. So first of all, what I like to do, or what you need to do, is figure out what you're going to charge for an hourly rate. This could be $25, this could be $50, this could be $100. Personally, I like to make $100 an hour. That's just where I'm at. You might be able to call around, find out what local shops charge for certain things. If a client comes to you and they want a 2021 Trailblazer wrapped, and you have no idea what to do, no idea how to price it, it's a good idea to maybe call around, see what they would charge. Even call, say if you're in California, maybe call Michigan, see what they're charging. Kind of get an idea on pricing and everything like that. Watch out. Okay, so your next dilemma, or whatever you want to call it, would be your design time. This is kind of something you just got to feel the customer out on. You might really not even have design time. If it's a color change, all you're doing is throwing a color on. But for this video's sake, we're going to say that your client is looking for a designed wrap, a printed wrap. So what you need to do is feel your customer out, kind of see what their expectations are, what their goal is for the wrap overall. If it's for a business, is it a camo wrap or something crazy that they want to do? Just kind of feel them out, see what they want, and then kind of go from there and determine how long it's going to take you to design that wrap based on your skill set. Something to think about when you're designing is what your skill set is. So I like to charge $100 an hour on design as well, but my skill set may be a little bit different than yours. Something like a basic wrap or something like that may only take me an hour to do. So I'm going to charge, maybe I'll charge 2 hours. Maybe I'll make that extra $100 on, even if it only takes me an hour to do, just because I built up that expertise. I know how to do it. I know how to do things. I know how to get in the program, get it done right, and ship it out to wherever it needs to be sent. If I'm having it printed, or if I'm printing it myself, I know how to set everything up. So going back to your skill set, if you're charging $100 an hour and it takes you 8 hours to do something super simple, you're not going to charge a client $800. My tip to you would be to keep that $100 an hour rate, but set your time at like an expertise kind of level. So if I were to say like, oh yeah, that's a super simple design, it'll take me 2 hours, maybe you should do the same thing, but strive to get to that 2 hours. Don't charge a customer 8 hours because you suck. But yeah, so we got design time done. Now we're going to move on to what are your expenses for a full wrap. So kind of going back to the design part of things. So you have software, it costs money. If that's true if you're using Adobe Illustrator, which is what I use. I personally really like it. Very easy to use. Lots of YouTube tutorials on pretty much how to do anything. So that's a $50 expense every month. Unless you're a student, I think you can get it for like $20 a month or something like that. So your next expense would be, are you printing the vinyl yourself, or are you having it subbed out? Normally, if you're printing yourself, you're usually running around $2 a square foot. If you're not, you're probably paying someone like WePrintWraps.com to print it out for about $3.50 a square foot, depending on what material you're working with. I always like to use 1105 Avery Dennison EZRS. Let's go, baby. Okay. All right. So other than that, I do not like to use WePrintWraps all that much because they print with a latex printer, and I don't care for that. You get all that stretching stuff and it turns white and it sucks. And if you're doing a fleet of vehicles, the colors are never gonna match. It's latex, it's garbage. I don't know why they use it. I do know why they use it, because it takes a lot less time and prep and stuff. They don't have to wait to laminate it. But that's a side note. Okay, I measured this van up behind me, and roughly about 350 square foot of material is gonna be used. So I'm gonna assume, I didn't do any math, but it's gonna be right around $1,000 in material, maybe a little bit more, I don't know. Next expense is, if you're not designing it, someone is, and that's expensive. So you gotta make sure that you're passing that expense onto your customer. If you're using RA Graphics or I think it's Skeppel, you're easily spending $900, very high prices. I'd never gotten anything done from them, but I have gotten a quote from Skeppel and it was like $900, and I was like, no thank you, sorry to waste your time. So I learned how to design myself, and you know, my reps are cool. You know, I don't have to worry about relying on somebody else. So we're gonna move on to tear down and cleaning of the vehicle. That's going over this thing, prepping it, getting it ready to go. If it's got old decals on it, make sure you're charging to take those off. That's another thing. If you are removing decals, it's easily a flat rate, $100, and you really cannot tell your client how long it's going to take, because you don't know what kind of vinyl that was used before. Unless it's something that you put on, you don't know what's coming off and how it's going to come off. So therefore, you cannot really tell your client how much that's going to cost them, just because you don't know. You know, you don't know. All right, you don't know. So for the teardown, we're gonna go over this thing. My rule for printed wraps is, if it takes less than 5 minutes to take off, it's coming off. Okay, you got me. You feel that? That tail light there, it's got 2 screws in it. It comes off in less than a minute. Yes, I promise. That door handle over there, I don't know if you can see it. I think you can. Yeah, you can see it. That come off in a minute, ready to go. But this is all stuff that I know how to do. I'm experienced, I'm seasoned, okay? Yeah, so I know what I'm doing a little bit. I don't break much stuff anymore. Okay? So you just really want to go around a vehicle. If it's something you never worked on before, definitely maybe throw another extra hour in there, maybe even 2 hours, just to be safe. That being said, make sure you're charging for that. It does take time. It does take some sort of skill. Yeah, practice makes perfect. Remember that. Now we're moving on to the install of the wrap. And guys, remember, this is all an estimate. We have not done any of this, and this is kind of our quote to give to the client. So I look at this thing and I kind of see, okay, we got hinges, we got to work around that. We can't really take those off. So we're gonna be working around that. We got stuff to remove. Depending on what kind of wrap it is, if it's a color change, we might remove all this black paneling. If you know, color changes, you always remove more stuff than you should on like a printed wrap. So we might remove the mirrors, door handles for sure, that little lockdown there, headlights, taillights, all that good stuff. For something like this behind me, 12 to 16 hours just for install. I break that down to like 2 8-hour days or 2 6-hour days or whatever it may be. If I'm hustling, feeling good, not on Facebook or anything like that, you know, I might get this thing done in 12 hours. That being said, some vehicles take much longer than others. That door handle, as I mentioned before, takes about 1 minute to 2 minutes just to take off. Not a big deal, very easy, very simple. It's 1 screw, it pops right out, good to go, you're ready to wrap. Others, like the Dodge Ram, it's not so simple. The older Ford vehicles, you have to like reach your arm up in there and try to get it. Yeah, it takes forever and it sucks. So definitely take that into consideration, how long all this stuff comes off, and how easy your wrap's gonna go on. Another thing to think about, this is a very flat vehicle. There's not a whole lot of curves to it, so you're not really working around a whole lot of like real hard edges or anything like that. So you can easily get this done pretty quick. Just like other vehicles, like if you're wrapping like a Volkswagen Bug or something, you got a lot of curves to it and it's not gonna really be all that simple. So definitely think about that. Now we're gonna move on to reinstall. We got post heat and we got a 360-degree check. So now I like to go, before I put anything back together, what I like to do is post heat everything. So I'm going into these deep recessed areas and putting everything down to make sure everything's heated up, everything's good, all the material that's in the recessed areas is nice and relaxed and good to go. To break everything down, let's say we got 3 hours of design time, a bank. We got 3 hours of teardown and cleanup, also right here. And we'll say we got 14 hours into install, cutting, cleaning, all that good stuff. I'll put that right here. And now that the wrap is on, theoretically, we are gonna reinstall our parts. We're gonna say that's gonna take us 3.5 hours. So that's gonna be $350. Add that to the list. And so I wanna make money on the material costs. So I times that by 2, times by 2. So what I do is add everything together, obviously, and that kind of gives me a total of installed, bada bang, bada boom, okay? For those of you that are potential clients, or you're just looking to have maybe a wrap done, you're doing a little bit of research on it, blah, 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 and you're like, oh, this guy just made $3,200. Well, it's not really like that, okay? Because first of all, you are having your vehicle wrapped. You don't know how to do it. And if you did try to do it, it's probably gonna look like shit. So, therefore, the people that are doing it professionally have a skill. They're putting time into it. They're putting thought into it. Most of them are using a creative mindset to finish it, or to design it, I should say. And yeah, and secondly, a lot of these guys are putting a lot of hours into these wraps. You know, a lot of pieces are coming off of your car. They got to have the expertise on how to put everything back together, how to take it off without breaking it, or that costs money. And not to mention, a lot of these guys that own shops or are in business, they could be in the shop till 6 o'clock in the morning working on your car. You know, they got to meet you at 9:30 a.m. just to deliver it. So maybe they're running on 2 hours of sleep, you know? So it's not like all, you know, sunshines and rainbows, people, you know? So, you know, it's not easy money. You know, there's definitely a skill set behind it. So yes, $3,200, perfect. That's all I have for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have questions, leave it in the comments. Until next time, we'll see you guys.